So I live in a
So
condo building, as I've mentioned, right?
you
And
have, and now they can see your building too.
yeah, they can see my building. It's come up a few times. I was downstairs. I walked into. We have a weight room downstairs. That's where I work out. And I walked down there the other day, and it was full of boxes. And I was like, "Oh, ooh la la, what is this?" And it turns out my
Getting
neighbor,
new equipment.
yeah, my neighbor Cole put in a request with the HOA, which just never even crossed my mind, frankly. I just all I ever hear are bad things about HOAs, so I kind of limit my interactions with mine. But as it turns out, they're a little bit based. It turns out, because he put in a request, and they bought us like some really nice new equipment. Like I'm not gonna die if I fail a set on bench press. I'm not gonna snap another cable doing leg press, which I have done before, and it's kind of annoying. Uh, it was really nice,
Very
and
nice.
let me tell you, the pump today was immaculate. I was really excited to hit this new equipment, which is funny because I hate working out. I hate it. I hate everything about it. But something about having new toys, man. I was just down there putting my life on the line.
So that's what your money in the HOA goes to. But you got to think like, what else does it go to? You know,
Well,
like
here it replaces the roof when it needs replaced. It pays the lady that I'm not gonna say her name. I guess, or Carol. I'll say her name. I don't even know her
well, you
last
you
name.
didn't have to, but okay.
No, I was. Her name's Carol. She sits down. She runs the front desk. It pays Jeff, our our
Okay, so other
building
than paying
manager.
the people that work there to act as a sort of piggy bank for these kinds of situations,
Yeah,
I'm,
it's a
I'm
piggy
assuming.
bank for crises. Like our AC system kind of needs replaced. That's going to be $1 million. Like it's a big building. It's an old
Oh
building.
yeah,
So like stuff like that. Like I don't like paying it, but like also people who own a house don't like buying a new roof every 20 years or whatever. So like it is what it is. I'm not sad about it. I think if I run the numbers, it covers my heat and AC. It covers everything but electric and internet utility wise. It pays those guys. It covers maintenance of all the shared spaces. It's my gym membership because we have the shared gym down there, and like it buys equipment there. I'm pretty sure if I actually ran the numbers on all the benefits I get, I'm coming out on top over not having them. So
well that's good. I do think like all HOAs are not
no, most
equal.
HOAs are like
Like I've
pure
heard,
evil. Yeah.
yeah, I've have horror stories from some friends who have HOAs, and it's just like a huge money sink for seemingly no benefit. But
If
it's good
if
to
I
hear that
lived in a
yours.
house, I would be very upset to have an HOA. Living in a condo building, I think it's an absolute necessity. There's no other way to do it.
Yeah, yeah. Usually I hear about like HOAs like in townhouses and stuff like that. You know,
Yeah.
neighborhoods. But yeah, I guess in a condo it does make more sense because there's a lot more shared
I mean, the elevator
amenities.
needs maintenance. That's happened a few times since I've moved
Yeah,
here, and we just you never really have to worry about it. I guess unless you're on the HOA board, and then you do have to worry about it.
right.
But
Well, that's good. You got new toys that were crowd-funded by socialism.
yeah, okay,
I don't
sure.
I don't know why I said that.
No,
All
I'm
right.
loving it, man.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Yeah, you're about to go to the beach though, right?
Yep, leaving
So,
on Saturday. Yeah, so I don't even get to use them
that's
for very long.
exciting.
That's only 4
Yeah.
workouts before I'm gone, and then I have to use the crappy like hotel gym. I don't know if I'll bother. I don't.
Yeah, you're on vacation, man.
I've done it before, but you gotta have the pump on the beach, Ahmed. What are you talking about? You gotta sun's out, guns out, brother.
Yeah, I guess. But no Switch 2 out,
No Switch
right?
2 out.
No Switch 2 out.
Not on the beach. I don't want to get sand
We're
in it.
both gonna be missing our
I
Switch
don't know
2
if I'm
launch,
gonna
which is
miss it.
crazy.
Target
You might be
is
back?
it is no. I'm not leaving until Saturday. The Switch 2 comes out
Ah, okay.
Thursday, I believe, because it's Monday now. We're on a weird schedule this week. I should if they get it to me day one, I'll have it for the flight, which will be really nice. I'm
Yeah, I
not
mean,
counting on that though.
a Switch 2 on the beach at launch week, that's a very appealing thing to me.
Yeah,
So
I gotta catch up on One Piece too. I'm behind. I love reading One
oh, the
Piece.
manga?
Yeah,
Oh, man.
reading
The
One Piece in
newest
the sand. Ooh, there's nothing like
chapter
it.
1150 was just
Dude,
the
I'm way
s
behind. Don't spoil
yeah.
anything. I'm probably I'm probably 10 chapters behind right now.
Like, the stakes just went from, like, let's say 6 to 20 on a
Yeah.
scale of 10.
That's what I've
So,
heard. I've heard it's like insane, so I'm excited to get back on the wagon. I was dying being week to week. Like the
it
weekly
is tough, yeah.
cliffhanger and the breakneck, like the emotional damage that the text break next week was doing to me was too
Dude,
much.
I honestly feel like a starving man who eats, like,
Yeah.
a bite of food every week.
Yeah, exactly.
It's very tough, yeah. Especially because it's so freaking good, man. It's so
It
good.
is. Yeah.
Hey, and welcome back to Game Talk. I'm your host, Emmett Mion. Today I'm joined by Connor.
Hey guys.
And today we're doing a very, very special episode. We are going to be dedicating this episode to Clair Obscur Expedition 33. Now, very quick warning here. This episode will, I repeat, this episode will have spoilers for the entirety of Clair Obscur Expedition 33's story, okay?
Up through the credits. I don't want to get into post game too much because
We won't get into post game.
But yeah, up through credits rolling, yeah.
But
And you don't want to know these things if you haven't played it yet.
We have discussed Clair Obscur in a spoiler-free context on the last several episodes of this show. So if you have not played Clair Obscur yet, just go listen to those, and then you can come back to this episode later.
Before they leave, I just want to say, I do think this is probably the second best video game I've ever played in my entire life.
Wow.
Wow. It's really, really, really good.
Yeah, so again, everyone, we wouldn't be making such a fuss of this if this story wasn't something truly special. So if you have any inkling to play this game, if you think you might play this game 5 years in the future even, turn this episode off, come back later, all right? We do not want to spoil this story for you. So that being said, you have been warned. There will be spoilers in this episode. So let's get into it. So Connor, you finished... I want to ask you first, right?
Yeah.
So you finished Clair Obscur Expedition 33 a couple days ago.
Yeah.
And I finished it a couple weeks ago now, so I've had time to like ruminate on it, reflect, read up on people's thoughts. Ferocious discussion happening online on the ending on all sorts of sites as we speak, and it's still going. And I think that's the mark of a great ending, right? It's not clear cut. There's no right answer, let's say. But let me hear from you first, Connor. What are your impressions of the ending? And then maybe we can get into the story at large.
I mean, I'm usually not a fan. So Clair Obscur, you don't make any story choices throughout this game. A little bit at the end of Act 2, when I was fighting the Paintress, I thought I might be making a choice at that moment. Like during the third phase, I thought, am I
a very sad,
am I not supposed to be doing
moment.
This?
Yeah.
I thought I was making a choice there, but I don't think you are. I don't think you have a choice but to finish the fight. But at the end, you do get a choice, and I usually hate a game that doesn't give you any story choices until the conclusion, but
it pulls it off.
It almost doesn't even feel like a choice to me because they're both so bad.
Yeah, like we said in earlier episodes, this is not a happy game. This is a game about grief. So the final choice, I don't know. There's a lot of debate. So let's just get into the final choice right now.
Well,
right?
Let's paint the world a little bit in case we do have listeners that aren't going to play the game.
Told you to go away.
Yeah, but they're probably here. Let's
right.
just... So, Clair Obscur Expedition 33 takes place inside a painting that is painted by a kid named Verso. And Verso is now an adult and also died in a fire saving his sister. His sister came into the painting and was reborn as Mael. And his mother and father are also both in the painting as the paintress and the curator. And the curator is trying to destroy the world to get the paintress to leave because staying is killing her.
So they can properly grieve for their son and move on. Because she
yes.
came into the painting because she could not let go of her son, and she wanted the last sort of remnants of him to hold on to him. Because his Verso's soul, a piece of his soul is still in the canvas, which is keeping the world alive. This is the most... By the way, like, if you have no context, we just dropped the most insane kind of synopsis on you, which I appreciate.
But at the end of the game, you defeat the curator, you've defeated the paintress, and now you're just Mael, and you have to decide. This world cannot live without you in it, and you want to stay, but you, the player, you have to choose. Verso wants Mael to leave and live her real life and let the world die, and Mael wants to stay and live her fake life, a fake, quote-unquote. It is...
See, that's where the debate comes in, right? Like,
because all these people are alive.
Yeah, from the objective of the outside world, it is fake, but these people have sentience. From the people inside the painting, like, the painters are basically gods, right? These are beings that come in, can do whatever they want to their world, can create life, can take it away. But the beings of the painting have sentience, they have lives, they have hopes, they have dreams, they have wants. They're alive, right? And this is one of the core facets I see a lot of people online talking about this game get wrong. They're like, oh, it's all just a fake, or it's a
not
dream,
fake,
it's whatever.
It's more...
That's not true.
It's more than just not fake, because it is stated, Mael, I think it's Lune, she offers to paint the outside world so that Lune can go into it, which means that you can have a painting within a painting, which means that I just watched Inception a week ago as well.
Right,
which
but
is
the outside world
not...
painting wouldn't be the real outside world. It'd just be like a facsimile to which Lune can gain an appreciation of the outside world.
But if you can paint inside a painting, then how are we supposed to know that the outside world is...
That's true.
Is anything other than just another painted world that Mael
Which, by the way, I think this series is rife for spin-offs, sequels. They can go in any direction with this. I think it's brilliant what they've set up.
I do hope they don't reuse anything when they go.
No,
I don't want to see any returning characters.
Well, okay. I have an inkling that Clair is being set up for more stuff.
I could see that.
I could see that.
I gotta play some of the post game to see, because I've seen very little of Clair.
You get a lot of Clair in the post game. Let's go back to the choice. Yeah,
you have to decide: do you play as Verso and defeat Mael and let the world die, or do you play as
the
Mael?
World die? So your sister can move on, right?
Yeah.
So she can...
Your fake sister, because you're not the real Verso.
No, but that's the thing. That's the beautiful thing about Verso in this game, painted Verso as we know him, right? He was made with a piece of Verso's soul, right? Mm-hmm. So he has all the memories, the thoughts, the feelings of real Verso. So Verso's intense love for his family is still there.
Right.
And that is his driving motivation and his source of crisis too, because he's like, is this how I really feel, or was I born to be this way because I'm a shallow copy of the actual thing? He's such a great character, but he cares ultimately about his mother, his father, his sister so much that he's like,
that he's willing to do
away with this world so
the only
my
world
family can heal. Yeah, so my family can heal, which is powerful stuff, man. Versus
that is
Mael.
the ending I chose. I chose to play as Verso.
So let's just set the stage right here. When I first played it, I picked Mael.
Really?
Yeah, and I regretted my choice, right? So if you remember, Connor, I mentioned that like I went back and replayed it the next day.
Yeah.
I didn't want to...
You played through the whole game again?
No, the final fight, right?
You can redo the final fight? I didn't
Yeah,
even know
you can reload an earlier save.
But
you didn't know at the time that there was a choice at the end, so I just made it sound like I replayed the final fight, right?
Yeah. Well, I was thinking of Outer Wilds when you said that, because I absolutely booted up Outer Wilds and just played the ending a second time.
Oh yeah, just to keep feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like I played my L's, saw what happened. I was just like, look, man, I get it, right? You're averting a genocide, but now what, right? Like, you're basically torturing Verso. You're killing yourself. Like, everything seems off.
bringing
Have you seen the other
Gustav
ending, by
back.
the way?
Yeah, I looked up
Yeah.
the other ending on YouTube, and what was really off-putting about that ending, bringing back the people who had gomaged, the people that had been erased, all of that felt natural to me. Bringing back
Because he
Gustav
died
was
on the
not.
continent, which
Yeah,
means he didn't go Maj, which means she basically just created another Gustav.
yeah.
Was my understanding.
I
I
mean,
don't
I guess
know.
they could have
Like,
found his body and the chroma was still in it. That has
yeah.
been discussed, but like,
But
you're
there's too much ambiguity there. And
yeah,
in the ending, Miles' ending cutscene was presented with enough ambiguous weirdness to be like, just stuff isn't right here,
right.
right? Like that was the tone they were going for. It's like, yes, you averted genocide, you saved these people, but at what cost, right? Whereas like the game clearly presents, I think, Verso's ending as the correct ending.
You think so?
Like I the
I don't see
developers
it that way.
have said that there is no correct ending,
Yeah,
right? They've come out and said that, but like Verso's ending, I mean, it's a tearjerker, man. It's like
yeah,
it plays like the saddest track in the entire soundtrack, and it shows this absolutely gorgeous cutscene of the Desandra family just in front of Verso's grave, grieving, and it was like so tender, and it was just like so touching. Um, and then you see like, you know, the Lumerians, Expedition 33, your friends that you made, just fade away in front of Mael, right? Because she has to let them go to move on in the real world. Extremely bittersweet ending. So, yes, like they're both very sad endings, right? Because in Verso's ending, Mael, against her will, is forced to live a life she doesn't want, right? She is still 16 years old, so you have to take that into account, right? She's not
right.
the most rational actor here, but like it also is cruel in a sense. It's cruel, but like necessary cruelness, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
It's tough.
I think it is a better ending for Mael to choose the Verso ending because the implications of what it does to a painter to stay in the painting for too long, it seems bad.
Right, because if you remember Aline, when you fought the Paintress, right, she wasn't all there. She was just like, oh, are you really Verso? No, this is a trick of
Right.
Renoir's, right? Like, she was, clearly her mental faculties were, like,
There's
declining from
there's
being in the painting so long.
there's an amount of like what being a god does to someone as well. Like, can you really live when you could change anything about the world you
Right.
live in at any time?
Yeah, and, like, Mael's ending, right, like, what she's doing to Verso is just cruel. Like,
Yeah.
that's just
No,
awful.
she should
right?
have at least gomaged him. Especially like having played some of the post game stuff. It's very cruel.
Yeah, and especially, like, watching that cutscene,
Yeah.
like, it just tore my heart out, like, when you beat the game as Mael,
Yeah.
she's, like, holding Verso as he's, like, fading away, he's like, "Please, like, I don't want this." He's begging her
Yeah.
to please let him go, and she just doesn't do it,
No.
and so that does point, like, to a selfishness that Mael has, that, like, she just wants to live in her sort of ideal world, even at the cost of Verso's happiness, his sanity, perhaps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really, really good
Dark
game.
stuff.
I also
Yeah.
thought I usually have beef with post games and RPGs like this where you like, oh, the final boss is still there. Except I don't think he is. The final boss is not still there.
No, he's not. It's
Okay.
not a true reload.
So
Like,
I guess what's really happening,
yeah.
my headcanon, I guess, is that it takes place. What I'm telling myself is that the entire post game takes place between killing the final boss and Verso walking through that portal. that is what I'm telling myself.
Yeah, in my head, it all takes place before the final confrontation.
That's fair
I
too.
think.
But that sits weirdly for me because there's a sense of urgency that you're ignoring.
There is a sense of urgency, but I feel like there's some critical character development stuff that has to happen before you. Because, like, the thing we talked about yesterday, Connor, like that conversation between Mael and Verso, where
Yeah.
Verso's like, "Yes, I let Gustav die."
Yeah.
That's that's an insane revelation, and like really informs both of their characters as well.
I think there's an amount. So there's something people say about The Last of Us that I've never really agreed with, which is that the moments in The Last of Us hit harder because you've played as the characters. And I've never really agreed with that because I never really felt like I was Joel. I was playing a character in a game. But with Clair
Can I
Obscur,
interject really quick?
Yeah, go for it.
I don't think that's true of the first game. I think it's absolutely true of the second game.
Okay.
That's
Well, I
my
haven't played it
opinion on
yet.
that. Yeah.
But what I can say is that in Clair Obscur, I do absolutely feel that because my choice to continue to play the game after the credits aligns strongly with Mael's inability to leave the painting. I'm not done with this world yet. I want to stay in it a little longer. I want to see more. I'm not ready to say goodbye to Lune and CL and Verso, and especially Eskie.
Eskie.
And
I just want to
Minoko.
say, the Verso ending might be one of the most beautiful cutscenes in a video game.
It
ever.
is.
Like straight up, like every single moment of it, like when it happens and CL walks through the portal or whatever
God,
and gives Verso that look. You could write.
She forgives him, like.
Well, she almost forgives him, right? She reaches out to him, but she doesn't let him touch her.
Yeah.
Which is such like a complex interaction. I feel like you could write novels on just that one interaction. And then like it happens again with Lune.
Well, Lune doesn't even
both their characters.
Yeah.
She just does the one thing because she's like, what can I do? Yeah. I am being obliterated. My entire world, reality is being obliterated. My final act of defiance, I'm just going to sit here and scowl at you.
And imagine this from Lune's perspective. She spent her entire life from like when she was 4 years old.
This was her whole life's purpose.
And she did it. She won. And Verso killed her anyway.
Yeah, for a bunch of people she'll never know or never meet, right?
Yeah.
So and to capture all of those feelings in like brief 5 to 10 second interactions. Like, they were able to convey all of that emotion, all of that thought, all of that feeling with that much time. I just think
I can't think of a movie that does it better.
Yeah,
like, off the top of my head.
Brilliant. Oh man! And then when Verso walks away with like Kid Verso, and they both just fade away, it's just it's one of the best video game cutscenes of all time. Like, absolute cinema.
And it's not the best part of the game to me. I think the ending of the game is excellent, but I feel like it peaked end of Act 2. I think that's the very best.
I mean, end of Act 2 is fantastic. Like, end of Act 2 is the culmination of the story as we know it, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's when they confront the Paintress. And I think the game does a brilliant job of ever so slightly showing its hand as you approach the end, right? Like, you don't really know what's going on until the end of Act 2, and the cards are all laid out on the table, right? You don't know. But you do get little teases, right? Right before you fight the Paintress, you can put together that she's Verso's mom.
Yeah. That I had put that together, but I still... And that she had made Verso, and that she was grieving.
Which by the way,
I even knew Verso had died in the fight. Like, you know, I put all that together, but I did not put together that the curator was another painter, or
was Renoir.
Yeah, that he was Renoir. I hadn't put together that the Paintress wasn't.
It's so
killing
brilliant
anyone.
Because all the signs were there, right? Like the curator's relationship with Mael, how tender he is with her because he's her father. Like, I've started another playthrough, by the way, Connor.
Yeah,
and it's like putting on glasses and playing. It's a completely different experience the second time around because you know all the context now.
Because there's so much foreshadowing.
It's a perfectly planned and executed story.
I mean, just from like when Eskie is listing his friends, he says Verso twice.
Yeah,
like
and like, I know we're going on so many tangents, but every little thing you say can be its own discussion. But I just love that. I think have you maxed out Eskie's relationship?
I have.
Verso?
I've maxed out everyone's relationship.
That beautiful scene, because like Verso is very insecure about himself, because like we said earlier, like he doesn't know if he's him or he was created to be like Verso, and he's just like, there was this conversation with him and Eskie. It was just like, do I remind you of Verso? And like, is that a bad thing? And Eskie's he put it in the most beautiful way. He's just like, it's like your cousins. You're both Verso. You're both my friends.
Yeah.
And that was like a really reassuring thing to him. Not enough, apparently, though, because he still went ahead and, you know.
Well, I didn't feel
the universe. Yeah.
He really, really wanted Mael to go back and live her life.
He wanted that, but he also wanted to die. That we can't deny that. Like that he did not feel right.
No.
Existing in this world as someone else, basically. And it's very sad, but he did want to die.
He'd also been doing it for 100 years.
Yeah, and he was an immortal, basically.
Yeah.
Right? So at a certain point, I'm sure he wasn't always like that, but I'm sure at a certain point it became torture. And in the post-game, you can come across more history of Painted Verso in the canvas that point to some like traumatic moments for him. And hopefully you'll get to discover that, Connor.
Did you find
that informs his character?
You found the Expedition 60 stuff.
Oh my god, that was the funniest thing. They were just all jacked, right?
And they'd figured it out. They'd figured out everything.
They had figured out everything, and they were on the way back to inform Lumiere, and
they drowned.
Didn't make it. But like, that's just so funny to me that like
they were jacked and naked.
And they were naked. They were just jacked naked dudes.
Yeah,
and they solved the mystery and everything, but they just didn't quite get there.
It's crazy.
That was a funny joke.
27 years sooner.
Yeah, man. But like, it's so interesting, Connor. Like, the revelation at the end of Act 2 just changes everything. We have not even once discussed what the story is for the majority of the game. Because it becomes irrelevant.
Yeah,
which I guess irrelevant might be a harsh term, but it's true. It's like the whole thing, when you realize what's going on, it's about this family, the DeSandre family. And I've seen people where that twist doesn't work for them, and I
really?
can empathize. I can empathize with that, right? Like, I don't agree with that. I think it's a brilliant framing of this world.
See,
but I can see where like it's telling you that like, oh, the beginning, like 2/3 of this game didn't really matter from the perspective of the Expeditioners.
See, I don't agree with that at all. I think it does matter still.
I think it does matter as well.
But the other side of that is that I play so many games, and I thought this when I was playing this game. I saw the stuff happen on the beach. I saw all of this, the white-haired man, Renoir, all of that. These people are immortal. How are they immortal? And I thought to myself, there's no way that enjoy the mystery now. The ending will not be satisfying. And I was wrong. Because it's so often
so often that
the mystery is so much more fascinating than the solution, or not solution, but the answers. And that's not the case here. I actually thought the answers were extremely fascinating. All of it. I mean, I can think of what I would call game design missteps in this game. But from a story perspective, I think this game is like pretty much a perfect execution.
Yeah, I agree. The one thing that makes me I don't want to call it a negative, but one thing that was nagging me a little bit was the final choice, right? It was between Verso and Mael.
Right.
When I think in reality it should have been Verso versus Expedition 33. Right?
Yeah.
Like, including Mael and CL in that scene. Or sorry, including CL and Lune in that scene.
I think their lack of agency is the point, though.
Yeah, no, that's a solid argument too. And then we wouldn't have gotten that beautiful scene with both of them, right? If that was the case. So, yeah, it's such an interesting ending. You can talk about it forever. The choices they made and didn't make there.
Yeah, I mean, you can think, couldn't Verso, in a world where people are behaving rationally, Mael could have gomaged Verso and not had the cruelty of that ending necessarily.
Yeah,
but how cruel was it to have Verso's? Because this is something we haven't even mentioned. Verso didn't like painting, like real Verso, original Verso did not like to paint.
I think that's a huge theme of this game too. The art and what happens when an artist dies, how the art lives on, how the art can change. I think that's a huge part of this game. Yeah,
but because you've run into this kid that is Verso, you've run into him a bunch of times throughout the game.
All the shadows you run into throughout the game are the DeSandre family.
Yeah.
Different. It's either Verso or Clair or Renoir. It's which you don't realize until the end. Yeah,
this kid's painting at the end, and stopping the kid from painting is what destroys the world, and that's what Verso could have walked away. I said earlier that Mael had to stay for the world to continue to exist, and I don't think that's true. I think the little bit of Verso's soul would have kept the world alive.
Right.
But
that would have kept the world alive even if Mael wasn't in the painting, but her whole thing was that, like, if I leave the painting, Dad is going to destroy the painting because it is a crutch that family is leaning on, and it's preventing them from processing the death of their son.
Yeah. It's a sad story.
Yeah.
I really, really, really like it. I want to do another playthrough. I don't know that the time exists, because I'd rather see the post-game stuff, I think, than do another playthrough.
I want to comment, little touch, right? There's so many little touches in this game, too. Have you played there are like little pianos littered throughout the world. Have
I
you tried
have.
playing them?
Yeah.
Depending on which character you play with, the piano is different, right?
Right, it plays
So
their
if you
theme, right?
no, well, not just that. Like when you play as Verso, because he's a pianist, it's like virtuistic. Like it's a
Mm,
really good piano playing. But if
interesting.
you play as like someone like I don't know CL, it's just like pretty rudimentary.
Oh,
If
I
you
didn't
play the
realize that.
piano as Lune, it's pretty good too because she's a
Yeah, she's a
musician.
guitarist, yeah.
And I just like that's just such a perfect little touch they added to that game.
God.
Yeah.
Lune's you can find Lune's parents who also went on an expedition in this game.
Yep. Yeah. So you've done that side.
Yeah,
That's
that was
kind of like post
touching.
game stuff.
I
Yeah.
didn't know if that was post-game or if I could have done that.
No. So all the character quests are Act 3 things. So
Okay.
not exactly post game. You could have done it before the final fight.
I didn't realize
But
that.
and
Okay.
that's what I did by the way. I was just like I at least want to do the character quests before completing Act 3.
I
But
didn't
like the
know.
game I think
Yeah,
is played best if you go immediately into the finale
which
from
is
Act
what I
2.
did. I will say, I thought the finale dragged a little bit. The running through Lumiere section of the game. There's more than one boss fight, I think, going through Lumiere. I know there's one that gave me some trouble, like as much trouble almost as the final boss did.
It's
some
hard for
reason.
me to comment on that because I was so powerful by the end. I just
Right.
steamrolled through
That's
everything.
probably
Yeah.
why, because I also found the final boss very difficult. You probably did not.
Dude, I'm envious of that because like I've watched the final boss on YouTube. Some really cool stuff happens
Yeah.
in that boss fight, but I just like
You missed
steamrolled it.
Yeah.
But like I did see that like the paintress comes in and like is fighting Renoir and it's just like this whole dramatic thing, which by the way, have we talked about the soundtrack for when you fight
I was
Renoir?
listening to it at work today.
L- oh, gosh, I'm so bad with French titles. What is it like Va à ta mère?
I have no idea, dude.
But have you heard the lyrics or the translation of the lyrics?
No, I haven't
to
heard
that
the
song?
translations of any of them.
So that song is Renoir and Aline arguing,
Oh,
and it's just them basically screaming at each other. Because Renoir's like, "I need to get you out of here," and Aline's like, "Let me grieve my own way." But at
yeah.
the like in the song, they say, "I still love you, even though I disagree with you." And it's like once you hear even without the lyrics, you hear it, and it's like making you cry because there's just so much emotion behind it.
Mm-hmm.
But like when you hear or when you read the lyrics, or if you even understand French, it's just like one of those beautiful pieces of art out there. It's
Yeah.
just like, oh my god. Because, like, this song plays when you fight Renoir before you even get to the paintress, right? So if
Mhm.
you speak French-speaking people, if they hear this song,
You
it
could know.
spoils
Yeah.
a lot of the game, right? Like, there are lyrics in there like, I'm going to get you out of this painting, and, like, all, like, speaking to the true nature of the world they're in before it's properly revealed in the
I don't know if I would
game.
call that spoiling because with retrospect, it's clear that that is about the game and the world. But without knowing that, it could just be a dramatic song. It could be a metaphor.
Right. And, like, you need to go back and just listen to this song, Connor. So like,
Yeah, I will.
there's a woman and a man singing, right?
Yeah.
And there are times when their lyrics diverge, right?
Mhm.
And there are times when they're singing the same thing, but they always end their lines with each other's names. So the woman says Renoir,
Mm.
and the man says Aline. So
Mm.
it's like the two of them trying to get through this, get through to each other, in a fight, but also still loving each other. It's just like,
Yeah.
dude.
I want to
It's
shout
so
out
much.
the Jacob Geller video I sent you. Jacob Geller did a
That's a
video
good.
on
That's
this
a great
game,
video. Yeah.
and he talked a lot about the very first line of the game, and I felt vindicated by that because I had also talked about the very first line of the game on the show when I first played it. The if you're going to give someone flowers, you should do it before they wither away and die.
Yeah.
And
It's a great line.
the flowers of the girl. That's such an incredible line, and it sets the tone of the game just immediately so well. That entire opening
Yeah.
sequence, I think, is magnificent.
Yeah. It really is. And I don't know, man. Just as someone who started New Game Plus, it's so weird seeing Gustave. It's so weird seeing Lumiere again.
Yeah, seeing
And it's
Gustave
also
again would
so
be weird.
crazy seeing how much you can see earlier on.
Yeah.
Like there are like posters of Seren, like one of the two axons in Lumiere
Really?
at the beginning.
That's
It's just like
What I've
There's
seen,
just so much.
unfortunately, I've been spoiled on this, but I've seen apparently there's a bunch of secrets in the manor that like I knew you could find additional doors that gave you new rooms, but there are like secrets in the manor that I would like to figure out.
Well, do you know which ones? Like what
I mean, do you
secrets?
know all of them? Am I at risk of spoiling you?
Well, I'm not sure. I have 100% of this game. I have the platinum
Okay.
trophy for this game, so I
There
probably have
is
found all of
one
them.
where you break a mirror and can jump through it, and there's one where you can jump through a painting. I know of those two.
Okay, yeah, I've done those.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Sorry, I am just trying to find the title of the song because it would not sit right with me if we did not shout the song out. Oh, Un vie à temer. I don't. It's probably saying it wrong, but that's the name of the song. That's the epic song that plays when you fight Renoir,
is
and
VA
it is a
life?
song. What?
I don't know. I don't know French very well. It sounds like a life something, but I don't know. I don't know French.
Yeah, a life to something.
Yeah, I don't know.
But it is an incredible song, and it evolves as you go throughout the game, right? Like, so as you fight Aline and Renoir again, right? Like, this song plays and evolves to reflect the situation, and it's just a beautiful way to integrate a song into a boss fight. That really, that song paints the entire world of this game. That one song alone, and just gorgeous work. And just have to keep shouting out the soundtrack. I'm constantly listening to this soundtrack, especially those like music video things Sandfall Interactive have put on their YouTube.
Yeah.
They're just like gorgeously shot and like beautifully sung, and I'm like, I'm almost looping back around to where like I'm getting annoyed at how everything about this game is just perfect, even everything surrounding it.
I've been
Or
laughing
I'm joking,
very
by the way. I'm not
hard.
annoyed.
I sent you one on Instagram. I saw a reel. People are making for those who come after jokes in their daily life and just posting it to the Clair Obscur theme, and I'm laughing really hard at it. One of them was just someone replacing the roll of toilet paper in the bathroom, and it said for those who come after. And
Dude, that's good stuff.
I was losing it at that. Oh, because
Dude,
that,
yeah,
you know,
like-
that's a phrase that I've seen during the most gut-wrenching piece of media I've ever seen, and then
Yeah, and I mean that's a good thing though. Like,
yeah,
this game, like I mentioned a couple weeks ago, I think it feels like a Baldur's Gate moment to me, and I
it
think
does,
it is.
yeah.
It is that now.
I
Like,
don't think
after
there's any
sitting with it.
If this is not Game of the Year this year, that will necessitate that this has been the single best year of video games of all time.
Yeah, I mean straight up. Like,
Because
I
can't imagine something better than this coming
for there
out.
to even be something better than this, that is beyond my capacity as a human
Yeah.
being to even imagine.
Yeah.
Right? Like, for there to be a game better than this year.
I still think I
Right,
prefer
like-
Outer Wilds to this game, but it's not by very much. This
See,
is the
that's
first
that's amazing, right? So like,
competitive game.
so just to circle back around, Connor, before you finished the game, you were like, "Will this game beat Monster Hunter Wilds?" And now that you've
Yeah.
finished the game,
Monster Hunter Wilds would have to do something pretty crazy to
Yeah.
to catch up. I mean, I love
that-
that game, but Monster Hunter at its very, very best is still like an 8 out of 10. It does not.
this is a piece of art.
Yeah.
Like, this is something like. I mean, do you agree with me, Connor, that this game will be remembered as one of the all-time classics
I think so. I think it's gonna.
in years to come?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to even say because it didn't do anything new necessarily. The combat is innovative, perhaps, but they just executed. They just did it
The
right.
way everything comes together, from the combat to the story to the music to the gameplay
Yeah,
to the voice acting. We can't.
yeah.
We have to shout that out.
Charlie
Just
Cox, man.
It's just
bringing the
another
heat
level.
right off the
Just
rip.
another level. Like, all of them, literally
Yeah.
all of them, and like, Charlie Cox isn't even the highlight, which is the
No.
craziest part, right? The most famous actor, who's an incredible actor, by the way,
Right.
isn't even the highlight, acting wise.
No, I mean the highlight is for sure Mael, who is also
Jennifer English. I looked up her name, so because we have forgotten her name many times on the
she's
show.
Shadowheart, right?
She's Shadowheart. Yeah.
Which.
But
Yeah.
there's some serious star power in this game, dude. I didn't even realize it. I had to look it up afterward. Andy Serkis is Renoir.
I did not know that. Wow.
Andy Serkis is Renoir. What?
God. How did they
Just
afford
what?
that with their
Dude, I don't know. But that's crazy.
I mean, I know they can afford it now, but
I mean, that's the biggest star on there. Like,
Yeah.
Andy Serkis? Freaking Andy Serkis? And he does a fantastic job. I mean, like,
yeah. Oh my god,
Renoir is incredible.
I mean, Renoir. That's what's so beautiful about Renoir as a villain in this game. He's right.
He is right, yeah. He's like, please, family, come home so we can mourn the death of my son together.
Like, he doesn't want to
It's-
destroy this world. They're making him do it by like refusing to come
Yeah.
home. And
I mean, at the end of the day, it is like if we're getting into like whose fault it is and consequences.
it's Versa's fault. Should have let
Well,
Alicia.
Should have let Mael die. Oh gosh, no. I was gonna say it's Celine's fault.
Oh yeah.
She's the one who escaped to the canvas in the first place and ruined everything.
Yeah.
So, like, if she had just dealt with her grief like an adult, like as Clair would say,
but
right?
Her son's dead.
Yeah, I know. That's obviously I'm being harsh here.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of like imitating Clair.
But right, yeah.
Clair is the harsh, like, pragmatist
Clair
of
is
the
a
family.
dick,
She's just
yeah.
like, everyone grow up. Like,
she's not even just a harsh. She's genuinely mean to Mael. She's like,
she is mean, yeah.
Or Alicia, I guess. She's like, I wish you'd died and Versa was still alive. Like, she just says that basically.
I think she's a fascinating character though, and I want to know more of her because the game does shed some light on her. But I think there's a lot of unexplored Clair stuff.
I mean, there's a whole. She's at war with the writers, whatever.
Right. There's this whole conflict on the outside, which is actually the main conflict of like this universe that is only lightly touched upon. We don't know anything about this.
But that's how Versa died. The writers killed Versa.
Right. But like we don't even know what a writer is, right? Like presumably it's something similar to painting where they can create worlds through their writing, right? That's our assumption. And that could be maybe the backdrop of a second game, a writer's world or something.
Well, and it begs the question, music is really, really important in this game. And if we have the painters and we have the writers, is there anything to being a musician? I would assume so.
Are different artists like different kinds of gods or something? That is what the game is sort of implying, but like I love how they left it all open, right? Because like in a world that isn't driven by capitalism, this game could just exist on its own and be perfect, right? And the unanswered questions can just be unanswered questions, and I think that's beautiful, actually, for this game. But we will almost certainly get some sort of spin-off or sequel. And I'm
just not so sure. I mean...
And what I'm saying is, like, I hope whatever follows this game doesn't tarnish what was set up by this game.
But there's no reason to believe that this team doesn't have integrity. I mean, they're not beholden to anyone, are they? Sandfall Interactive?
No, they're not. They're a private company.
They could absolutely just say, like,
they could walk away.
We're doing something new.
But have you seen those dev videos?
I mean, I wouldn't mind a Clair DLC. Like,
well, I was just gonna say, like, these are some of the most passionate developers I've ever seen.
I don't have to watch the video. I played the game.
Yeah, you can feel it in the game, right? But like, they are totally in love with what they've created, this world, everything about it. Like every facet of this game is dripping with passion. Like the music, the animation, like the everything, the voice acting.
Yeah.
So I imagine everyone involved wants to continue it somehow, right? Like obviously, it's going to be different. You can't really follow the same cast of characters. The loosest connection you can do is follow the Desandra family in a sequel. But I feel like that would be the boring choice for a sequel.
I agree. I would much rather
follow a writer or something.
Yeah,
or a writer's
and not
world.
mention the Desandra. Maybe like a loose. Maybe whoever started the fire, it could be them, and that's their only connection to the Desandra family.
Yeah,
and we're learning about why they did it. You know, because as far as we know, the Desandra family are decent people. They're just a normal, rich family.
Well, okay, so that opens up another discussion. I think they're all kind of narcissists.
Okay, but if you could paint, if you could
be a god at any moment, yeah.
How could you possibly not be a narcissist?
I suppose so, right? Like,
I mean, because at the end of the game, is Maya literally making Versa's corpse dance for her, like, and thinking it's a kindness,
right? And she's again, she was 16 when she made that choice. The ending takes place several years after that,
right?
But like, clearly, her development was stunted in a sense where she was just like, "This is okay," right?
Yeah.
And you have to. It takes a kind of selfish person to make that decision. So I think everyone in this family was raised selfishly, maybe perhaps except for Verso, who makes the ultimate selfless sacrifice. Right? He sacrifices himself for his sister, and
I mean, you can also look at Renoir. It's heavily implied that Clair, or not even implied, Clair and Mael and Verso were all painting as children. And
Yeah,
I would assume that Aline was too, but Aline taught Renoir to
Renoir.
paint. So he
And they
probably reached adulthood before he ever knew how to do this.
right, yeah. Yeah, that's a good point.
So he
But
got to develop and live a normal life until he became a god.
yeah, and he's the I guess the most rational out of
Yeah.
everyone in the family where he's just like, "Okay, enough with the painting. We need to
Mhm.
live in the real world." And yeah, yeah, and I love how all three of them, yes, they learned how to paint as kids, but painting was none of their true passions, right? So Clea's passion is, I think, sculpting. If you like go into her room, you
Oh,
can
interesting.
in the manor you can see that. Verso's passion is obviously music, and then Alicia's passion is actually writing. Um,
Oh.
and that is probably why her mother. Well, there's a lot of reasons, but like her mother, Aline does not treat Alicia with kindness at all.
No.
She's very cruel to her,
No, I
right?
mean,
Like
the
when
painted
she
version of
recreates, yeah,
Alicia has the scars. She
yeah.
didn't have
So
to.
she literally created a being in a tortured way just
Yeah.
to punish her, which is so messed up, right?
Extremely dark.
It's
And that goes to show Aline, it's ironic because she came to this world to be with her fake family, but she also clearly does not necessarily value
I mean
she doesn't see them as equals, certainly. The people that she
I
paints. They are
well, I
less
was going
than
to say
her.
she clearly just hates her youngest daughter.
That
That
too.
which is
Yeah.
very sad, but that's I mean, that's how she feels.
Yeah.
Um very messed up thing to do to your new family. Why even create her at all? So that I mean, that's so cruel. Oh, man. Yeah, the painted family is just tragic, right?
Yeah.
Because like, I mean, Renoir, painted Renoir was created to agree with Aline,
Mhm.
right? So he's basically just like the guardian for the paintress, which makes you think that like, how did Verso? Well, it's because Verso was created with Verso's soul, right? It
Right.
wasn't fully created by Aline. That's why he had like more agency and wasn't fully, I guess, indoctrinated by Aline's beliefs.
Alicia's not either, though.
Well, you have to remember, painted Alicia. Oh, yeah, painted Alicia. She's kind of like, yeah, you're
She
right.
is not she's not helping, certainly, but the letter says, it's up to you. Do what you're going to do, Verso.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So eh, you do have to make some assumptions about how the mechanics of things work. It
Right.
seems like the painters can give agency
I
or
think yeah,
or
I think
paint them
Renoir has
with
agency.
biases.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think
Well, if she had painted Renoir to be exactly like outward Renoir, then like
well,
he would have been against her,
but
right?
it was her biases, and her bias was that Renoir was a man who would do any act of cruelty to keep his family together, which is how she saw him at the
Mm,
time as he was trying to
yeah.
tear her out of the painting.
And that and just another like beautiful overarching theme is that when a painter paints, depending on who's painting, there are going to be biases
Mhm.
in the art, right? And that's just reflected through the characters,
I mean,
the
I
mechanic of
think there's a
painting as well.
reasonable I it's hard because did Maëlle make Gustave when she entered the painting because Gustave mirrors Verso to Maëlle as Verso was to Alicia in that he died.
You mean when Maëlle was like born?
Yeah, or subconsciously, did she change his fate to become a brother to her? Did she and if you look at Ciel and Lune as well, Lune feels beholden to a cause that she doesn't particularly care for. She holds a lot of similarities to Clea in that way.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Maelle's like paintress abilities didn't really awaken until the expedition.
Yeah,
So I don't think she had an like I think Gustav obviously was still I mean, he was born and lived several years before Maëlle was even a factor.
right.
So I don't think she had an influence on him. But it's again, it's like hard to tell. And I like that it's
Or did the
ambiguous because
painter
it
did the
leads to
paintress paint
people.
those people because they
Well,
were
my
all
impression is
born
the
after.
paintress so right, because like when Verso painted the canvas, there were no humans. It was just gestrels. It was like this
Mhm.
playland for him as a kid and
Oh,
Clea.
I didn't realize that. Okay, so the humans
Yeah,
were
that
all from the paintress.
So the humans, I think, were from Aline. The the Gestrals, like I said, from Verso. What were the enemies called again?
The Nevrons.
The Nevrons were from Clea.
Oh, really?
So like each of them
Not all of them,
altered.
though.
Well, I think all of them because the Nevrons were created, and I don't know if this is post game. I think this might have been revealed like through the course of the game, but the Nevrons were created by Clea to help Renoir,
Hmm.
right? Because like she
Painted
wanted
Renoir.
to no to help real Renoir because like the whole
Oh, well, they don't do
fracture
a
and
very good
everything,
job of that.
the whole fracture was caused by Renoir and Aline's conflict, right?
But some of the
And
Nevrons,
the Gommage is caused by Renoir every year. And the Nevrons, they trap the chroma inside the body so the chroma can't come back to Aline, and that weakens her. So as Nevrons kill people in the world, Aline gets weaker and Renoir's gets stronger.
because I think
So Clea made that change to tip the scales in Renoir's favor.
the Nevrons around the Axons, it says during the ending, were made by Renoir, because those are the ones that show up in Lumiere and fight against you. It's the Nevrons from the Axon.
Okay. So there might have been some distinction there, but most of the
Yeah.
Nevrons made by Clea in an attempt to help
Okay.
her father forced her mother out of the canvas.
Right. The Axons are
which-
also such a cool concept for
Oh yeah.
Titans, which is essentially what they are. They're not gods, but they are the Titans of this world. They represent the gods, more or less,
Right.
the pantheon. They're
And
very
like it was
cool.
such a cool mid-game thing to be like, okay, now hunt two of the Axons, you know?
Yeah.
And they were quite impressive. Like I was wondering what you'd think of like the desert area, right? But I thought it was very cool.
Was Serene?
Yeah.
I really liked it. The whole Colosseum. I actually think that might be my favorite area of the game.
Like favorite dungeon
I
kind
don't
of
know
thing.
if you noticed this, but the music is real in that, like, when you go behind a wall, the music is a little muffled. If you turn the
Yeah, it's all
camera,
coming from her, right?
it's directional. Yeah, it's always coming
Yeah.
from her singing.
I noticed that, yeah.
That
I love
and
it.
that immediately, like, I noticed that and I was like, God, this is an all timer. This game.
Yeah. Man, there's just like not even one bad level. The only thing that comes close is that I think the big recap of everything
The
as you
monolith. I hated it.
go back to the painters, I think that was a little much. I get what they were going for, right? And I think it was effective in kind of tricking you into thinking, okay, this is the end, right? Like we're going through the best hits.
It
You know,
felt
this is the final
weirdly
battle.
like padding, though, and in a game that clearly did not show its. 'Cause there's so much post game, so they clearly were not like
Yeah.
starved for
No,
content.
I think it was an intentional choice. I think it was to make the player feel the finality of what was happening.
Yeah,
Right? Like
which I did.
here's like a quick run through of like everything up to this point, and now you're at the final battle. But psych, it's not the final battle. Everything you know is a lie. You
It
know,
was
that
a
sort
little
of thing.
long, though.
I agree.
It
Yeah,
felt
that
to
was
me
like
when
one
I was
blemish.
playing
I feel.
it felt like they had a story they wanted to tell at that time, and that they did not know how to put gameplay to it. So they ended up just mixing essentially the player character's memories with the paintress's memories and doing a whole. And it didn't really land for me. Like I got what they were
Yeah.
saying.
I think that was definitely the weakest part. I think of the game as a
Yeah.
whole, but
So
small
you've done the
blemish.
Endless Tower then, right?
I have, yeah.
Is that? Oh, I'm not
So
gonna ask that. I haven't even touched it yet.
What I will say, so for those of you going into the post game, there are essentially 3 pinnacle bosses that are significantly harder, and one that's significantly harder than even those 2. But you know that one, right, Simon?
Yeah, I figured
But
the
yeah,
other one's Julia.
so
I assume.
well, I guess I
We'll
won't
get
tell
there,
you
yeah.
since you don't want to know. But yeah, doing the Endless Tower, the last fight of the Endless Tower is one of those pinnacle bosses.
Okay.
So,
And there's also I found canvas workshops or something. It seems like there's going to be
we
something
have to fight like
yeah.
several bosses there.
something but nasty there, but I don't know yet.
Is it the Flying Manor?
No, it's different. It's a canvas you go into, and then you have to like put pieces onto a monster to fight it.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I know what you're talking
I
about.
imagine that's
Yep.
going to be pretty fiendish.
It'll be a bit of a surprise
Yeah.
when you get in there, but yeah. So I mean, that's sign of a brilliant RPG is where there's compelling things to do even after you finish the game, and lo and behold, this game has it too. It's just a miracle that this was Sandfall's first game, man. Like,
yeah,
where do they go from here?
looking at the pedigree of this team, it's like it's not like it's a guy on SoundCloud did the soundtrack, and it's
Yeah,
maybe the best soundtrack of any game I've ever
of
played.
any game. Yeah, it's truly like a convergence of just like these random people that just fit in the right exact way together to create something timeless. It's just the sort of thing I feel like happens once in a generation. Like
Yeah.
this sort of thing, just where all the stars kind of line up right, and you just get perfection. So,
Yeah,
man, what a freaking game, dude! What a freaking game. Yeah, I'm glad we did this. Like, and I think you understand now, right? Like my burning desire to talk about this game after
Yeah, I
finishing
do.
it. You know, like you just have to, right? You have
It's
to get
tough.
it out there. Yeah.
It's
So I think,
very.
yeah, it was appropriate to do this.
I hope Mike plays it so we can really hash it out.
Well, I think he said he was playing it in the Discord, right? He's still. Well, maybe not. Maybe I
I
misunderstood.
think he just
what was
barely
saying.
touched it or something.
Yeah.
I don't remember, but I hope we can hash that out for our game of the year.
Yeah. I hope so because, well, I think the two of us.
I mean,
are
yeah,
on the
it's
same
already
page now.
won more or less because
Yeah.
the two of us have decided. But
And-
it's
and, you know,
probably
like,
going to be
it
this versus
is-
Monster Hunter.
It is funny though, right? Like it's not even half the year
Yeah.
happened yet. You know, like so. Yes, I suppose it's possible something could happen. You know, this was a surprise.
Yeah. Well,
So,
Grand Theft Auto 6
you never
isn't
know.
coming anymore.
Even if it was, though,
Yeah, I know,
Grand
no.
Theft Auto 6
not on
has
this show, certainly.
no chance. Yeah, not on this show against this game. Oh man. Okay.
I don't know if I have anything else to say. I just
What else?
I don't
Have-
think I can recommend a game higher than I can this. Because like I love Outer Wilds, but I can't fault somebody for bouncing off of it.
There are certain types of people that it will bounce off of.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
this Clair Obscur, like you can put it on easy mode, and you know if you have to do that, you should. Although I do think that the difficulty, much like Dark Souls, the difficulty matters to the story. To me at least.
Yeah,
It
and I
impacted
think I
everything.
truly think this is a game that even if you don't play turn-based RPGs, any you can recommend this game to anyone.
Yeah.
Because if you want, you can turn the game down to story mode, and the combat's not going to be an issue for you, and you just get the brilliant story. Like my friend Dylan, who actually composed the theme music to this show, he has a kid, right? So he's very busy, and he gets very little time to play video games. And he played maybe like, I'm not even kidding you, like a minute and a half of Clair Obscur.
Yeah.
Like he got to the part where like Mael runs away from Gustav,
Mm-hmm.
and he was just like, okay, this is kind of jank. Maybe I'll come back to this. Maybe I
Mm.
won't. You know,
I
and
get
which I
that.
get, right? Like at
Because-
that moment, you're like, all right, what the heck is this? You know?
That is like a weird because I don't think there's any other moment that I think of in this game as being
Yeah.
janky.
It's not
But
right.
she-
Like that is a weirdly
moment, like,
singular moment.
Why does
yeah.
Miles sprint away
Yeah,
from you
just
at
have her
Mach
walk.
5?
Yeah,
Like,
I don't know.
It's so weird.
But it was just like this little thing where he was just like, okay, now my attention's on something else, so maybe I'm not going to play this. But I told him like, look, man, play the first hour, and if you don't like it, uninstall it. Like I was like that confident.
If you get through the
And it-
beach, I think, and you're not hooked.
Yeah.
Other than you specifically.
Yeah, other than me.
who was ready to put this game down.
Yeah.
That
No.
timeline. Ugh.
Yeah, imagine that timeline where I just
Imagine
like, never
me
gave this
sitting
game a
here
second
trying to
chance.
defend this game to you.
Just glazing this game, and I'm like, no, it's stupid.
It's stupid. It's so French.
Dude, I have so much respect for the French now. I'm like, maybe I should go to France next
Dude,
year.
let's go. I want to go to Paris.
Yeah.
We should go.
Yeah, maybe I should just go to Lumiere.
Dude,
right
I'll go to
quick.
Paris. We don't have to wait till next year. I'll do it in like you don't have to be PTO. You spent it all.
I went to Japan twice in 1 month.
Dude, I got some PTO to burn because of events in my life. So I might, maybe I'll go by myself. Maybe I don't need you.
Go to Paris. Yeah,
Yeah.
you don't need me, you know.
Ride a bike in Paris.
But yeah, what was I saying? Yeah, but like I convinced him, right? Like give it another shot, and now he's really into it.
Yeah.
So he's playing through it. So just take that story, take the example of me. If you're a regular listener of this show, give this game a shot. Like I get it, right? Like you must be tired of hearing about this game if you have not played it, right?
Yeah.
Like everyone's just constantly praising it to the point where you're like, okay, it can't be that good.
It is though.
Right. It really is, though.
It's
I'm
exactly
telling you
that
as
good,
someone,
if not better.
Yeah, I'm telling you as someone who was one of those doubters mere weeks ago. This is a once in a lifetime kind of game, and you must must play it if you're a if you like video games. I think it is a must play game.
I agree. It's on Game
Oh man,
Pass. You could buy.
yeah,
It's
they're
not that
giving
long.
it away.
You
They're just
could pay for
giving
1
it
month
away.
of Game Pass and
You know
knock it out.
what's so funny? I bought the game right
Yeah.
for $50, which by the way,
Worth it.
$50 game.
It's 50. I thought it was 40.
Oh, maybe it's 40. I think it's 50 though.
Okay, it's worth it. Worth every penny.
I went ahead and they restocked like the collector's edition.
Picked it up.
Didn't even hesitate. Bought it. I was just like, take more of my money.
I mean, this
It's
is
beautiful.
like I think that
beautiful
opening
people.
line is so beautiful. Like I think it would make a good tattoo. The if you're going to give someone flowers, you should do it before they wither away and die.
Yeah, there's just so much to that line.
Or just the
There's so
flowers of the
much.
girl. If you want something
Yeah.
more concise.
Well, I feel like you don't even need that line because the first line kind of implies. The
Yeah,
second
I would
line.
get one of the two.
Yeah.
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 It's
The writing, man.
really
Gosh.
good.
Yeah. So second favorite game of all time after Outer Wilds. I mean, it's in.
I gotta metabolize some more. 'Cause
It's
I
in
don't know
my
if it's
top
gonna
10.
hold
It's
that.
probably in my top 5. I have to, you have to let it marinate a bit.
Exactly.
But if it's anything like me, Connor, it's been 2+ weeks and I still can't stop thinking about this game.
Well, I'm not
So,
even done with it yet.
Yeah.
I actually like some of the post game stuff has already recontextualized it significantly to me. Doing the reach, that whole
Yeah.
that
That's
was
a great
good.
level.
That was really
Yeah.
good stuff. And
Yeah.
I didn't expect to be like tearing up in the post game. I thought I was done with that. And
No, yeah.
I was not.
That's where the stuff with Alicia happens,
Yeah,
right?
that's where
Yeah,
the stuff with Alicia, and
that's
then
powerful
the
stuff.
bombshell about Gustav is like
Yeah.
all after that.
That's all missable, people. Like that's crazy to me. That's all missable. Like not missable, but like you could presumably finish the game and never see it, right?
Yeah.
If you're not
And I'll
thorough
tell
in
you,
beating this
the
game.
whole game I'm playing through, the second my L got her painter's powers, I was like, oh my god, we're getting Gustav back. Like he still had the
Yeah.
skill tree. We're gonna get him back. We're gonna
No.
sorry, brother. Not
And I applaud that
Me
choice.
too.
Very, very bold. Yeah. And how pog was it then when Mael got a move straight up just called
Gustav.
Gomage?
Yeah. Oh yeah, Gomage. Yeah.
Gomage, dude. I lost my mind. I was just
Yeah.
like, oh, bro, that's crazy.
The one that's
That
like
you can just
Gustav's
Gomage
honor,
fools.
I really liked. Where
Yeah,
she,
that's a great move too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great move.
I still
But
I want
you know
to do
what's
some
funny?
build theory stuff because I've seen
Oh, there's
people
so
do
much.
like
Yeah, that's a whole other
a billion
part of this game we didn't
damage.
even touch on, where people can do straight up. I've seen billions, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
I personally have not even gotten close to that.
No.
I mean, I've gotten the highest I've gotten is into like 10 million plus range.
I don't
gotten
think I've
that
broken
high.
70,000, but I'm also only level 50.
Yeah, no, you'll get there as
Yeah.
you. Well, like a Gomage with Mael on like a marked enemy while she's like buffed is
Yeah.
just like the
Oh,
most
I imagine
disgusting
it's
move in the game.
Horrifying.
But
Yeah.
like,
it also
yeah, that's
the subtle stuff they do with game design to like at the early game. I'm like, why is Mael so strong? She's 16.
yeah. Now you know, right?
like-
she's a god,
She has
basically.
fire attacks, which is so messed
man.
up.
Yeah, I didn't even put that together until you mentioned it. in the
I
Discord.
realized it. So my build for Mael right now is she heals when she's attacking a character that's burning, and so I've been playing this on a Bluetooth controller for what it's worth. So I was having trouble learning the parries against Alicia, so I just kept burning her, and I was like, this feels dark. I don't like
Oh,
this.
No,
But
Oh,
I kept
no.
healing that way by burning her, and then I was like, oh,
Oh,
that's really messed up.
no.
And then I thought about it for a second. It's like, oh man, it's really messed up that they gave Mael fire powers. Which
Yeah, that's crazy, dude.
yeah,
But it's interesting talking about Mael's the most, I think, fun character to play as in the game, like in
Yeah.
combat.
yeah.
Verso's a lot of fun too.
Yeah.
And
My
Verso and
lineup
Mael
is
are significantly stronger than everyone else. Again, for lore reasons too, because they're
yeah.
kind of hybrids. But
My
But
lineup
Mael-
is Mael, Verso, and CL. I really like CL.
oh, I rotate.
oh really?
I've
I did
used
not.
every possible combination of characters
I did
all
not.
the time.
I had a
but
dedicated
what I will
lineup,
say-
and
My Mael, and I kind of did this both because like it made sense build wise and because lore wise I think it made sense. Obviously, I had Gustav's like honor or whatever it was called for the longest time, but when she got her painter's powers and started unlocking those void skills, I did replace it because I'm like, okay, now Mael's like more
yeah,
Alicia, more paintress now than she was before. So like, and her void skills are absolutely broken, dude.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
Stendhal or whatever is
Yeah.
a disgusting attack. That void, there's a void attack she has that hits all enemies
Yeah,
that
I
like
have that one,
multiple
yeah.
times. Yeah, her she just becomes so powerful at the end, and
You wanna hear
rightfully
something,
so.
like,
Yeah,
deeply embarrassing?
yeah.
I was struggling against the final boss, and I was looking, and I was like, "Ah, maybe I have some Pictos that will help." And this was the moment I realized that Pictos affect your stats.
Dude, come
I
on.
did not notice. I was just
That's
picking
crazy.
cool effects, so I was using, like I had level 4 Pictos on my characters.
No, okay, so when you fight, if you ever get to Simon, you have to take everything into
Every
account.
advantage,
Alright,
yeah.
I'm like, which Pictos do I give to actually buff my stats? Because without these stat buffs, even at level 90 plus, this guy's going to walk all over me.
I mean, I figure
Like,
by
you
that
have to
point,
account for everything.
you're
Yeah,
more worried about the stats than the effect because you have the Luminas by then, and you have,
exactly,
like,
yeah.
1,000,000 Lumina points, so
100%, yeah, you're concerned about, do I buff health or speed on this character? Like,
Is
that becomes important.
is there
Yeah.
ever an infinite, you can reroll your stats and like,
Yeah.
reallocate. Is there ever an infinite way to do that, or is there a finite number in the game? Do you know?
There's an endgame area where you can farm to basically get infinite
Okay,
resources if you want.
'cause I
Yeah.
I haven't used one a single time yet,
I haven't either, yeah.
and
I just
I
built
imagine,
yeah,
like,
I built them how I built them.
if I picked a weapon and, like, actually did the stats to support that weapon, I would be doing far more damage. I would be much stronger, but
Yeah.
I pretty much have I have my stats pretty balanced other than luck. I have not bothered with luck with any character, really.
So, it's interesting how I built them, basically whatever weapon they were using at the time, whatever they scaled with, that's what I put
Yeah,
points in.
same.
So everyone has, like, a mishmash of points
Yeah.
throughout everything. So, like, my character, what I'm saying is my characters could be very much more optimized as well, but, like,
Yeah.
I didn't concern myself too much with that. But, you know, if you ever get to Simon, you might have to
I will have
reevaluate
to
your
because
life. Yeah.
I will say, like, I'm feeling the latency on the Bluetooth controller, but the
Dude, I
problem
did it all on a Bluetooth controller.
You did?
On a DualSense, yeah.
Is DualSense just Bluetooth? I thought it had, some fancy low latency
Well,
stuff.
you might be right. It might be like PlayStation Link or something. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I thought it was.
Yeah.
I know it can be Bluetooth on a PC.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe it is Bluetooth, but I definitely am feeling the latency on my controller playing this game, especially against some of the harder enemies.
Yeah, you wanna get that figured out before Simon.
Yeah, because I'm thinking about buying a long USB cable, because the problem is I could sit at my PC, and it's gonna sound good through my headphones, but my speakers are nicer than my headphones, and the soundtrack to this game is really, really,
Oh, it's
really
just
good, so I
Dude,
wanted to
honestly,
play this in
the s
4K, and
that's more important. The
yeah.
soundtrack to this game is dude, let me put it this way. Even in some twisted world where Clair Obscur does not win Game of the Year, if this game does not win Soundtrack of the
I
Year,
don't think there's any doubt.
something is deeply, deeply wrong.
Yeah.
Deeply wrong.
And
Just
yeah.
ugh. Yeah.
I don't know if you've, like, looked it up. It is very, very this version of the soundtrack they put on streaming platforms is thorough. There's, like, 6 Lumiere songs in there.
Oh,
There's,
yeah,
like
yeah, there's like 8 hours of
Yeah.
music, straight up.
It's actually I kinda wish there was an abridged version that, like, was all the hits so that I didn't have to go through and make that playlist myself, because I don't wanna listen to 6 versions of Lumiere
Dude,
when I'm
how
just listening,
sick will
but
it be when they have the Game Awards Orchestra perform music from this game?
uh, uh, yeah.
Just
It'll be the first time I've ever cared about
it
that.
has to happen. It has to happen. If you don't get, what's her name? Elise Duport-Piercer or whatever, to sing
I wonder if this game is
some of
gonna
the
have
songs
the
from that
heat
game.
to, like, there's a Stardew Valley symphony going around right now. I wonder if this game is gonna have the heat. I bet it does to get
To do a concert series,
Yeah,
yeah,
'cause
I feel like it must, yeah.
Pittsburgh has a very good symphony. My ass would be in that chair, like
Yeah. No, I would go to Pittsburgh
yeah.
and put my ass in that chair.
Yeah.
Dude, the other thing is, they announced very recently that they have sold over 3.3 million
That's more than
copies.
Doom.
So,
Doom
well,
was saying
Doom
3
Doom
million players.
well, I was gonna say Doom is on Game Pass, but so is Clair Obscur, so
Yeah.
it is comparable, yeah.
Yeah, very comparable.
So just outstanding job.
Yeah.
And because, like, it'd be one thing where, like, an amazing game can come out and people might not care about it, but this has both, right? It's an amazing game and people know it's amazing and are telling everyone it's amazing.
Yeah.
Love to see it.
And
Yeah.
I'm not done. I'm gonna be playing. You're still playing it, right? You're still doing New Game Plus, or are you kind of?
Yeah, it's not gonna be something I, focus on, right? Like, this will be something that's just in the background for me, right? Like, I say that, but I don't know, like,
Yeah.
I do keep thinking about this game,
I mean, you
right?
still got to
Like,
catch up on Monster Hunter.
well, I have lots of time to do
Yeah.
that, but I will
Yeah.
catch up on Monster Hunter, but yeah, I don't know, I just wanna live with this game a little
A
longer.
little longer. Yeah.
I just can't let go, like my L. Oh,
I don't
man.
suppose you've been playing anything else.
No, that's it for me. I've just been just Clair Obscur.
I've played a little tiny bit of Monster Hunter, but nothing worth talking about.
Did you finish Doom?
No, I still got 2 levels left.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't played Doom at all since we last recorded. Although it's only been like 6 days. So,
Yeah.
and I probably will not finish Doom before I go to the beach, unfortunately. So, it is what it is. Maybe I can
It
fit
is
it
what
in
it is.
tomorrow. I forgot it's only Monday, so I probably will fit it in.
Yeah, I'm actually going to Florida. Like I mentioned Dylan earlier on this podcast. I'm going to his house
Nice.
with a couple of my buddies.
New album coming out.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh,
If you know, you
yeah.
know.
Yeah.
But he was just like, dude, I'm probably gonna be playing Clair Obscur when you're down there. I'm like,
Dude,
please do.
You're gonna.
Yeah, I
it's
wanna.
gonna be. You're gonna be sitting there like trying to
Yeah,
keep
I
your
know,
mouth
right?
shut.
Like,
Yeah.
but like, dude, I mean, now that I've experienced it, it's over, right? Like,
Yeah.
obviously, I can replay it.
It's
But playing
not
through
a.
that game the first time is something special, much like Outer Wilds, right?
It's not like Outer Wilds though, because you can replay Clair Obscur. You really can't replay.
No, I
Outer
mean, like,
Wilds. But it's not gonna hit the same.
You're right
no.
that you're right that Outer Wilds you can't replay it more to an extent than Clair Obscur. But what I meant is the knowledge you gain from playing Clair Obscur once. Like the reveals, the twists. You can't go through that roller coaster again.
I think it's
Like,
gonna
obviously,
make
you gain a new appreciation, yes, but like
I think you're gonna
there's something to
understand
be said
stuff.
about the
I
roller
bet there are
coaster.
subtleties
Yeah.
that you could only see on that second go through.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. But I'm saying that there's also a lot of value in that first time experience, and that's just
Because
you only get that once.
I am a
Yeah.
replayer. I listen to the same podcast musical basically every time I travel. I've listened to it over a dozen times, and I still notice new things when I listen to it.
Yeah.
Shout
Yeah,
out
that's great.
36 Questions, the podcast musical. It's very good.
Yeah. No, I'm sure that'll be the case for this game too.
Yeah.
And like I was surprised, right? I didn't know this. But apparently if you beat the game on New Game Plus, you can do like New Game Plus 2.
Does it just keep
And,
getting harder?
Apparently it goes all the way to +5. That's what
Mm.
someone said on Reddit, which is interesting because the level cap is 99, so I don't know how that's going to work.
Yeah. I mean,
But,
build crafting,
Yeah.
maybe upgraded weapons.
It is funny though, like starting a New Game Plus, because when you start a New Game Plus, Gustav gets everything Verso had, like all his weapons and his stats.
Mm.
So Gustav's just a god right now,
Yeah.
just like one-shotting everything, and I'm like, this Gustav could probably take Renoir.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Rest in peace, Gustav.
You didn't like him.
He grew on me.
Yeah. After he died.
It is wild though that I didn't like him at first.
I know.
That is crazy.
Because I've
Now
not
that
seen
I have-
anyone else not like him.
Yeah.
Everyone I've seen is glazing Gustav.
I will say, like, in slight defense of my earlier self, he is kind of just like that typical hero character. And he is kind of, yeah,
No, killing
which
him
is-
is what makes the character.
yeah. And I mean, that's just such a bold thing to do. We didn't even touch on that in this episode, but
Yeah.
like, killing your protagonist at the end of Act 1, replacing him with someone who you've literally haven't even seen up to that point.
Yeah.
Just injecting him into the story and having that work, like, my God, the writing must have been ironclad for that to
Especially
work.
the
And
journey
it was.
Gustav went through in that one act. Like,
Yeah, I mean, that was like a 10-hour journey, dude. That
Yeah.
wasn't insignificant. That was
No.
like a long time to be with that character.
things
Yeah.
were finally going well. There's a lot of levity right there at the end until he died. Like, you just met Eskia.
Well, but like, here's the thing. Like, I mean, we got to talk about it, I feel. But like, that whole end of Act 1, like, you could feel things were getting more foreboding. Like, even the lead up to the Lampmaster fight,
Yeah.
right, with the lamps turning on, you're like, oh, this is spooky.
Yeah.
And then the fight with that really beautiful, haunting music. Like, the Lampmaster fight music, so good.
It's also the cutscene that plays when you beat the Lampmaster? Is that
Lampmaster, yeah.
pretty pog. Pretty,
Yeah.
Everybody jumping in, like, acting like a team, kind of for the first time.
And then I love that you hear it before you see it. You hear Renoir's cane slam it on the ground.
And the dramatic
Which, by the
tension.
way, what a sound effect.
Yeah.
What a sound effect. Like, so much foreboding just from that one sound.
What a game.
And then he just death beams him.
Yeah.
Like Vegeta and Frieza on Namek.
And he keeps fighting. And then he death beams him again and he dies.
Like Vegeta and Frieza on
and
Namek.
Verso just watched it happen.
Yeah, he was like, yeah, I could have saved him. But I didn't. Yeah. That's crazy.
Crazy.
But like, I love how everything went south. Because like, even on the boat, they discover Lampmaster is still alive, right?
Yeah.
And now they're in trouble too. Like, everything's just so
really
finished
not going
at that
well.
point. Yeah. Masterpiece of a game, dude. Man. Okay, so there you go. We talked about the end of Act 1, Act 2, and Act 3.
In that order.
In that exact order, yeah. No, in
the exact opposite order.
Yeah, 3, 2, 1, yeah. Man.
Good game.
Do you think you're gonna ever replay it just to get that extra context?
Yes, I think I will. Yeah.
Yeah. I have been watching like streamers, people I don't even know, right? Like just to see how, just to kind of vicariously live through them and be like, okay, I want to feel what I felt back then. Yeah.
All beans.
All right. Well, I think we've said our piece. Connor, do you have anything else to say about Clair Obscur?
No, I think I'm done. I think we're ready for the outro.
All right, well, enjoy the Clair Obscur music that I'm going to put in this episode, by the way. It's probably playing right now.
Choice.
Yeah. One of the most beautiful soundtracks of all time, just straight up. Have to shout it out one last time. Thank you all for listening. Please like, rate, and review us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, or any other podcast services you use. Please click the link in the description to join our Discord and talk to us there. Thank you, Connor.
Yeah, thanks.
And see you next week. Bye.